History offers a clear warning about the severe logistical difficulties of conducting large-scale offensive operations in Eastern Europe during winter, a lesson that has been learned repeatedly at great cost. According to an analysis by Forbes, Russia now appears poised to repeat this mistake by significantly increasing troop levels in Ukraine as part of a new major winter offensive. The publication notes that while expanding manpower may seem like a logical response to stalled advances, it risks compounding existing logistical problems rather than solving them. Forbes points out that Ukraine has deliberately focused on striking Russian logistics hubs, supply routes, and rear area infrastructure, further complicating Moscow's ability to sustain large-scale operations. These attacks have degraded Russia's ability to deliver ammunition, fuel, food, and equipment to frontline units. As a result, although an influx of additional troops could provide short-term tactical gains or allow Russia to maintain pressure along certain sectors of the front, these advantages are likely to be costly and difficult to sustain without a reliable supply system. Over time, the lack of adequate logistics could turn increased manpower into a liability rather than an asset. At the same time, Ukrainian Armed Forces Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrskyi announced that Russia has expanded its force in Ukraine to approximately 710,000 personnel as part of this new offensive effort. This figure was later confirmed by Russian President Vladimir Putin in his annual New Year's address. While the number appears extremely high compared to the roughly 150,000 troops involved in Russia's initial invasion of Ukraine, Forbes notes that earlier estimates by the Council on Foreign Relations and other institutions already placed the number of Russian troops in Ukraine at around 600,000 earlier this year. Given the scale of Russia's current operations and its recent recruitment and mobilization efforts, Forbes assesses that an increase of around 20% in troop numbers is realistic. However, the publication stresses that sheer numbers do not automatically translate into battlefield success, particularly when forces face persistent supply shortages, equipment losses, and declining troop quality. The article also notes that, from a strategic standpoint, the decision to increase troop levels is understandable, as Russian advances have largely stalled or are limited to marginal gains. In Pokrovsk, for example, Russian forces have been attempting to capture the city for approximately 17 months, yet Ukrainian forces continue to control a significant portion of it. Similarly, heavy fighting continues in Chasov Yar, despite Russia's declaration in July 2024 that the city had already fallen under its control. These examples highlight a broader pattern in which Russian offensives consume large amounts of manpower and resources without delivering decisive breakthroughs. Forbes concludes that unless Russia can significantly improve its logistical capacity and sustain its forces under harsh winter conditions, the current buildup risks repeating historical failures, where ambitious winter offensives collapse under the weight of supply shortages, exhaustion, and mounting losses.